Bobby Dirkens here. Lord, I'm tired. Whew. Like trailer trash spitting out trailer babies. I asked y'all about a month ago, give me some relevant college football teams for this upcoming season. Tell me who you want me to review. Lord, even if I had to make up some lies, and you did. You gave it to me. We talked about Oklahoma, Georgia. I mean, they're only an hour and 40 minutes from Clemson. Ohio State, Tennessee, Florida State. We went out to the West Coast and talked about Stanford. I mean, it's not a bird, it's a color swatch. Just go back and watch the video. But anyway, this week we talk about the Wisconsin Badgers. Now, we're down here in God's country. You got to think about it. I'm here in South Carolina. I mean, we got these guys. I mean, we're in the South. Got a lot of great football down there. But here's the deal. We know that Wisconsin has talent. But at the same time, let's be honest with ourselves. We just really don't respect them. I mean, it is what it is. But let's talk about the notable players that's come out. That's a new word I learned. Players that's come out of there that just, in the recent past. Have Russell Wilson, though we do know he played most of his career at NC State. He and Tom O'Brien had a disagreement. Tom stuck to his guns, and Russell said, I'm a graduate. I can go anywhere I want to. And he went up to Wisconsin and ended up in Rose Bowl. And we have J.J. Watt and the endless supply of Watt brothers that only Wisconsin can tap into. I mean, there's J.J. Watt. There's, I think, Derek Watt. There was the great-grandmother of Clee Francis Watt. I mean, it was great. It was wonderful. Melvin Gordon was recent. We even go on back to passively saying P.J. Hill. We got Monty Ball. We even got Ron Dane, Great Dane. He did a great job there while he was there, won the Heisman Trophy. So, it all started back in 1990 when they hired Barry Alvarez. Barry took over. He ran that thing all the way up to 2005, just killing it. And then he decides, I just want to be the AD. And then they hired in Brett Bulemic. That's a disease. No, Brett Bielema. Bielema, that's his name. So they brought him in, and I equate this to, just imagine you have a Walmart here, all right? And you have the store manager who did great for years, and he decides, I just want to be a door greeter, And so he helps hire in the new manager, and he's just a door greeter. And then they were doing all right, and then all of a sudden some things went swirly up there, didn't have a good season or something, and people started going to the door greeter going, you didn't run things that way. And maybe he said something like, I would do things differently. And he talks to the manager gets offended, I'm running this ship. But in this case scenario, the door greeter could put pressure on the new manager, and we won't say that he got fired. We'll just say that, like most college football coaches, they resigned. He ended up at Arkansas, and however that happened. Turned around and ended up hiring Gary Anderson. That was a short stint, and Gary ended up leaving. And he hired Paul Chryst. Paul Chryst is going to his fourth season. Came out of Pittsburgh. He used to be one of the coordinators or coaches there at Wisconsin back in the day. And so it was great to bring him home. He's done well. This past season, he beat Miami in the Orange Bowl, so it was a big deal. The crown jewel is that now going into a sophomore season, Jonathan Taylor. He rushed for, I think, 1977. It was the year my grandma's dog was born. Beautiful year. Anyway, 1,977 yards, 13 touchdowns. They returned 10 out of 11 starters this year. One of the big things for them is that they have a quarterback who's going into his third season, Alex Hornibrook, who threw for a little over 2,600 yards. I was thinking money, dollars. Anyway, I need it too. He did have 25 touchdowns, but every now and again he was known to throw an interception or 15. He did throw 15 interceptions. That offensive line is intact. The receivers they're returning this past year, Quintez Cephas. Sounds like a disease. You don't have the Quintez Cephas, do you? Well, a little penicillin shot cure that. Anyway, Quintez Cephas, he missed half the year, and he was still just incredible. A.J. Taylor, Danny Davis, sounds like a race car driver, and a world-renowned rapper, Kendrick Pryor. He will be back this year doing great. The only player they lost last year off that side of the ball was, let me look, tight end Troy. You got to be kidding me. Troy Fumagalli. I guess that's his last name. Fumagalli. But anyway, he's the only one that's gone. They return that. Everybody seems to be healthy, and unless anything bad happens, them boys, they are going to be rolling in the Big Ten. On the defensive side of the ball, they were not that lucky. They lost 8 starters. Who's returning is nose tackle Olive Saga. This is a joke. Saga Polu? Something? I don't know. But if he's a nose tackle, he's a big old boy. I don't want to say too much. That if we have to go head to head, the number one rule in fighting is there are no rules. But Olive, he's coming back to hold down the middle. Inside linebackers T.J. Edwards and Ryan Conley will do their thing. And strong safety Dakota Dixon. He'll be strong safety. Let's be honest with ourselves. We're down here in the South. And I can't say that we give Wisconsin the most respect. You know why? Because most of the great football teams who wins national champions every 1, 2, 3, or 4 or 5 years is down here. I mean, it's just the truth. When you hear of Wisconsin, you know what they spit out. But at the same time, you don't respect them. I mean, you got to think, I live down here in South Carolina, where Jesus is Lord and college football is king. And I just happen to be one of the pastors. And the truth is, this coming season, they do stand a chance of running the table. And I know you're like, well, Bobby, I've watched your other videos, and you've said these other teams really stand a great chance of running the table. We'll tell you this, there's a lot of college football teams that are really talented, including our Clemson Tigers, whose schedule is not that hard. And they could actually run the table, which leaves the committee with a big old problem at the end of the year, which you should go back and watch my video on why we should have 8 teams in the college football playoff, how it would we would take away 1 cupcake game, we would add 1 game either right at Christmas or just tag on another week at the end of the year. Same amount of football they're going to be playing. They're playing 12 games anyway. It's awesome. I'm right. And when they do it, y'all will thank me. But I think they stand a really solid chance of running the table. Let's look at their schedule. Got it pulled up here on, I just asked Google. She showed me. First week, Friday. Watch those Friday games. Just ask Clemson and Syracuse. Friday, August the 31st. They play the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers there in Camp Randall. Well, guess what? I think you're actually going to win that game. That's one of those games you stay healthy in. Next week, Saturday, September the 8th, you play New Mexico Lobos. Sounds like a delicious Mexican dish. You're going to beat them in Camp Randall. Just try to stay healthy. Next week, you play BYU Cougars, Camp Randall. BYU used to be dangerous. Notice I said used to be. You will beat them this year on Saturday, September the 15th. Then you play your first conference game at Iowa Hawkeyes. Those guys, they can do some crazy things. But I think you're going to be ready for them. You will win that game. Then you have a bye week on September the 29th. And then you have Nebraska Cornhuskers coming to your game. This is an asterisk game. It's coming to Camp Randall. That's a good thing. As long as you're healthy, I think you win this game. But it's going to be a tough one, I believe. I could be totally wrong. Scott Frost used to play quarterback there. He won a ton of games. He's a fantastic coordinator. Then he became a head football coach, did great things at UCF. If they had a college football that was 8 games instead of 4, they would have been in it this year. And I think that they might have surprised some people. I'm not saying they would have won the national championship. I think that they would have knocked somebody out, and they did a really good job. He's coaching. In coming seasons, as long as he can recruit well and keep his head straight and keep those boys' heads straight, let me just tell you right now, you've got a problem with Nebraska. You've got a problem with Nebraska. But I think you win that ball game. At this point, you'd be 5-0. Then you go to Michigan. Playing Michigan these days, you really don't know what you're going to get. You hear about Harbaugh. You hear about, what's that kid's name? Shea Patterson that transferred up there. You hear all these things. You don't know what to believe. Here's the deal for me. It's going to be in Ann Arbor. You have to respect that. But until they prove to me that they can run an offense, I'm giving this game to you. I don't even have to give it to you. I think you'll win the ball game. And if I'm wrong on that, well, good. It'll be a surprise, because the only thing surprising about Michigan football is that no matter who they hire, no matter who they bring in, nothing is changing. Nothing is changing. You're operating off of, I don't know, early to mid 2000s and the 90s right now and times before that. So, I mean, I'm not dogging on Michigan. It's just the truth. So if it was Clemson, I'd say the same thing. I think you win that game. At this point, you would be 6-0. Next week, play Illinois fighting Illini. You'll win that game. The week after that, you'll go up and play at Northwestern. Pat Fitzgerald's a good coach. I mean, you got to think the recruiting and academic requirements have to go hand in hand there with Northwestern. Clemson's Hunter Johnson just transferred there, but he has to sit out this year. You don't have to play him. I think you will win that game, but Pat Fitzgerald always knows how to get you ready, or get ready for a team. Then after that, you play Rutgers. You'll win. Not even go there. Then here's the biggie. You're at Penn State. Now, Penn State, I know they lost Barkley, but I'm telling you, James Franklin's got them boys rolling. They believe. And not only are they believing, they're just doing it. You know, they're going out on the field and they're winning. I did not think they'd beat Washington in what was that, Fiesta Bowl, but they did. So here's what I'm going to tell you. You just need to listen to me. This game is very losable for you because where you're playing. You're playing at Penn State. They have a ton of talent. He has his system in place. All right? Do I think you can win this ball game? Yes, I do. But I believe you're going to lose this ball game. I think this is going to be your first loss of the year. It's an easy toss-up. You can win this game, but I'm just going to tell you, I think you're going to lose that ball game because he's got them boys. Barring any injuries from them, I think you're going to lose this fight. I think it'll be a fight. I think College Game Day will be there. I think you two will be ranked pretty solid. Top 10, maybe, given what goes on, maybe even top 7, top 6, something like that. It'll be a big game. It will be a deciding game. But I'm just telling you, it's going to be huge. And then here's a game I think you're going to have a trip up with. At Purdue the very next week. Because if you just lost to Penn State, you're going to be thinking about Penn State. And even if you beat Penn State, then you're going to come out going, there's just a psychological nature. I'm sorry, I don't make the rules. I don't make the rules. I know it's odd. It's just like I got a cousin who doesn't have any tear ducts. So when she cries, you don't see any tears. She's just sitting there going, you think crying's weird as it is? Take away the tears and tell me how weird it is. Poor Sally. At Purdue, you're going to have a problem. They're doing some good things up there. They're fighting. I'm telling you, you better watch this one. I think you will win that game, but you could lose it. But I think you'll win it. So I have you at 1 loss right now. Then you go and you play Minnesota back in Camp Randall. I think that you're going to be focused. I think P.J. Fleck is trying to turn around up there. But I just think Minnesota is a very difficult job to have, and he's finding that out. Think he'll win that ball game. Well, at the end of the day, I think you're going to have a really good season. That's as far as I'll go. If you do make the Big Ten championship game, and I can't remember the whole lineup, I'm sorry, forgive me if I can't remember which side is which. I want to say that Penn State, and I should look this up, is in the other division, so probably make it into the Big Ten championship game. Can't remember, forgive me. But I think that you stand a good chance of doing some really, really good things. You could go undefeated because your schedule is favorable to you. There's still a lot of teams that are getting tougher. There's some teams you're not having to play. You don't have to play Ohio State. You don't have to play Michigan State. That's in your favor. You don't have to play them. So thank you, Lucky Stars, on that one. Not to say you wouldn't win the game. I'm just saying that you know where I'm going with this. Well, this is Bobby Dirkens saying I have presented the message to you. And if you believe it, you will probably live a well good life. But if you don't, you're probably a communist. But anyway, Bobby Dirkens saying, yeah, go watch my other videos and look at me on Instagram. I'm on my Instagram at @TheBobbyDirkens. You can follow me and get a dose of Bobby almost every day, almost every other day, all right? Bobby Dirkens saying, I'm right. If you don't agree with me, you're wrong. Bobby Dirkens.